This is CBC News Network, and things are moving quickly following the U.S. strike in Syria. You're looking at new video from Syrian TV showing U.S. cruise missiles hitting the Syrian airbase late last night. Now, this is the first ever direct American military intervention against the Assad regime. We also have images from Russian TV of the aftermath, appearing to show warplanes that remain undamaged. But we can also see where the missiles hit, with some hangars that appear to be in ruins. Well, we do have comprehensive coverage for you coming up on the program with all the worldwide reaction, including what Canada is saying in a moment time. But first, take a look at what we know so far. The Pentagon says earlier indications are that the missile strike caused extensive damage to the airbase, hitting both Syrian aircraft and infrastructure. Syria's president is reacting for the first time this morning, calling the U.S. military action reckless and short-sighted. As for Russia, Syria's key ally, it is condemning the U.S. move as, quote, aggression, and putting crucial military coordination between Russia and U.S.-led forces in Syria on hold. With that, let's go to Stephen D'Souza. He leads off our coverage this morning from New York. So, Stephen, what more do we know about this strike?
Well, we've been seeing the new pictures emerging of the aftermath of the missile strike. We know that 59 cruise missiles were fired, Tomahawk missiles were fired last night from two ships, hitting at around 8:40 p.m. Eastern time, and they struck aircraft, supply depots, as well as air defense systems and radar installations. The U.S. says that this was a proportionate attack in direct retaliation for the chemical weapons attack launched by Syrian planes from that very airbase earlier this week, and they say that they were careful not to hit chemical weapons storage facilities on that airfield, as well as they say they were careful to avoid Russian forces that may have been in the area, saying they notified Russian forces ahead of time. The U.S. military is painting this as a very precise strike, but Michael, as we know, the military, political, and diplomatic fallout from this will be anything but precise.
Well, a lot of people are asking a very big question right now. What does this mean about U.S. policy regarding Syria now?
Well, on the face of it, it looks like this is a big change in U.S. policy, going from a hands-off approach. Early last week, they were saying that the future of Assad was going to be in the hands of Syrians. But, you know, when you see those pictures, when you see this attack, it appears that this is a major shift. But Secretary of State Rex Tillerson last night saying that this is not a shift in U.S. policy towards Syria and Assad. What he says is this is a president willing to show that he can be decisive when it matters. He says that this was not a spur-of-the-moment decision by the president, that they were very deliberate in reaching this decision to attack, and that the president made this decision with the help of the National Security Council. And it appears what changed is that the images from that chemical attack, where dozens were killed earlier in the week, really had a profound impact on the president. That was evident when he spoke last night. Let's hear a little bit of that now.
Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. It was a slow and brutal death for so many, even beautiful babies.
It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons.
Now, what Rex Tillerson was saying is the path forward in Syria relates to defeating ISIS first and then establishing an international coalition to find a political process, Michael, to deal with President Bashar al-Assad.
So that attack happening last night, what are we expecting to hear today then, Stephen?
We'll expect a lot of political fallout here in the United States, because this is a move that President Trump did without consulting Congress, though we are hearing reports that he did inform some congressional leaders about the attack beforehand. He did not seek congressional authority, which is interesting because back in 2013 and 2012, when President Obama threatened airstrikes against the Syrian government, Republicans and even Trump at the time were saying that they should go through Congress first. And so we'll expect a lot of political fallout on that end. I'll expect a lot of diplomatic fallout with a number of key allies, especially the Syrian ally Russia. But also look for Donald Trump to speak later today, hopefully to get more of a justification for this. You know, he talked in that clip about this being, in the national security interests of the U.S. But also keep in mind, he is in Florida today meeting with the Chinese president. And another issue that will no doubt come up in their discussions is North Korea, another state that is acting out. And so what happened in Syria, what message will that send to the Chinese president as well as to the North Koreans? That will be a topic of much discussion for the rest of the day.